The scent of her perfume, a biting blend of jasmine and something unnervingly synthetic, would usually greet me at the door. It was her unmistakable signal of arrival, like a queen returning to her palace, claiming her space with a declaration of presence. But tonight, something in the air was different. It wasn't just the familiar scent or the warmth of her light step. It was a palpable buzz that seemed to hum through the very air, a tension so thick I could almost feel it on my skin, making the hairs on the back of my neck rise. There she stood, bathed in the golden glow of the hallway, her eyes unnaturally bright, her lips curled into a crazed grin. In her hand, she held a single sheet of paper like a trophy, a symbol of something she believed to be monumental. "Look!" she shouted, her voice pitched higher than usual, almost manic with excitement. "I've got it! I finally got it!" I stepped inside, the weight of a long day settling into my bones. The officer's fluorescent lights had given me a headache, and my briefcase felt heavy in my hand. I smiled, forcing the exhaustion off my face. "Got what, honey?" She pushed the paper toward me, almost pressing it into my chest, her breath quick and eager. It was an official-looking letter, its top adorned with the firm's emblem and the words option and bold emblazoned in bold. I scanned it briefly, but no butterflies stirred in my stomach. I knew all too well what this meant. She had been after this promotion for months, and I had spent countless nights working late, missing dinners, missing time with family. I should have been happy for her, but the hollow ache in my chest told me otherwise. I forced myself to sound congratulatory. "Oh, that's incredible," I murmured, my voice tinged with warmth, but I knew the truth. This promotion wasn't just about career advancement. It meant more money, more status, more time away from me, and I wasn't sure how much more of that I could handle. My gut twisted, but I pushed the surge of jealousy down, determined to be the supportive husband I knew I should be. She was practically glowing with excitement as she walked through the living room, her heels clicking sharply against the wooden floor, each sound grating on my already frayed nerves. I watched her, fascinated by how she moved. Her every step seemed infused with a frantic energy, and her hair bounced as she tossed it back in the way she always did when she was pleased with herself. But there was something off, something I couldn't quite place. She didn't just look happy, she looked feverish, her skin almost too radiant, her eyes too wide, as though she were glowing from within. I told myself it was just a thrill of the promotion, but a voice in the back of my mind whispered that it was something else, something deeper. I reached for the letter again, pretending to read it, though my thoughts were elsewhere. "So, what exactly does this entail?" "More responsibilities, I imagine." She paused her pacing, her eyes lighting up with the kind of energy I hadn't seen in a long time. "Oh, it's far more than that," she said, her voice laced with pride. "It's a project manager position. I'll be overseeing a whole new team, working directly with some very important individuals." Her gaze flickered away from mine for a moment, and I watched her closely, an unsettling feeling tightening in my chest. Something was wrong. I couldn't shake the sensation that the floor beneath me had shifted, and I had no idea where I stood anymore. I glanced down at the bottom of the letter, my eyes tracing the small block of text that contained the company's contact information. My stomach lurched. "Brittany," I whispered, my voice suddenly flat, emotionless. "Look at the date." Her excitement faltered, a glint of doubt crossing her face. "What?" "It's the date they announced the promotion. What's the big deals?" I pointed to the date, my fingers trembling slightly. "This letter's from June 12th, I said, the words heavy in air between us. "Today is October 15th. The room seemed to freeze. The air thickened, the weight of the silence pressing in on us. Brittany's grin faltered, her eyes widening in shock. She took a step back, her hands flying to her lips, the letter slipping from her grasp and falling to the floor like a discarded leaf. "W what? What are you talking about?" she stammered, her voice barely a whisper. The color drained from her face as she scrambled for words. Why are you just telling me now? Why didn't you tell me months ago? Why haven't we celebrated? I stood still, staring at her, the full weight of the moment crashing down on me. This wasn't a promotion. This was a lie. A carefully crafted deception. And the truth was unraveling before me, faster than I could keep up. She had barely opened her mouth to explain when the words failed her. There was only silence, thick and suffocating, hanging between us like an unspoken truth. I kneeled down slowly, the letter still in my hand, and held it up before her, forcing her to see what she had done. For months, I said, my voice tight with growing fury. For the past 4 months, you've been playing me. You've acted as if you were working tirelessly toward this promotion, when in reality, you had it all along. What does this mean? What have you been doing for the last 4 months? Her eyes darted, frantic, searching for an escape, her lips trembling with uncertainty. She took a step back, her shoulders curling in on themselves. I can explain, she stammered, her voice barely audible, desperate to find a way out. I stood up, a tight, cold knot of anger coiling inside my chest. How could she have lied to me so effortlessly for 4 months? Explain the late nights, I demanded, my voice rising. The whispered phone calls, the new outfits, the strange, unsettling transformation in you. Explain to me why it feels like I no longer recognize the woman I've been married to for 8 years. Each word cracked the silence, the weight of betrayal settling like a stone in my gut. You've been distant, like a shard of glass, slipping further and further away, all while chasing this promotion. You've lied to me every single day. Every night, a new lie. My voice grew louder, more uncontainable. And you want me to believe you now? Her voice broke through the tension, frantic and pleading, but there was no remorse in her tone, just desperation. No, it's not what you think. You don't understand. Oh, I understand completely, I interrupted, cutting her off with icy clarity. You've been caught, and now you're scrambling for a way out. You're lying, and you're a terrible liar. The proof is right here in this letter. Without waiting for her response, I walked toward the fireplace, placing the letter on the mantelpiece with deliberate care, positioning it just so, securing it with a little decoration as if it were a trophy. I took a step back, admiring the cold finality of the scene. Isn't it a shame, man? You spent 4 months plotting, planning, and scheming, but you made a simple mistake. You brought the letter home. Why would you do that? Her face crumpled then, tears flooding her eyes as her pride shattered before me. She stepped forward, her hands reaching for me, a desperate plea escaping her lips. Please, just listen to me. I forced myself to swallow the rising tide of disgust for her. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any more of your lies. You betrayed my trust in ways I never thought possible, and I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive you for it. I stood there, the weight of everything she had done sinking into my bones. For months, I had trusted her, believed her, and all the while, my gut had screamed at me that something was off. I had doubted myself, convinced that my suspicions were nothing more than paranoia, but now I had the truth, right in front of me. As the phone rang, slicing through the tense silence, I didn't flinch. I simply walked past her, leaving her frozen in her place, wide-eyed and filled with dread. I picked up the phone from the counter with cold precision. Hello, this is Mr. Thompson with Human Resources. Is this Mr. Harrison? Came the voice on the other end, professional and detached. We regret to inform you that your wife and Harrison has been terminated for violating company policy. I glanced at Anne, who stood there, frozen, her mouth agape. The world she had built up around her was crumbling. I continued to listen, my voice steady as the HR representative detailed the breaches. It appears she was using company resources for personal gain. We have evidence that she falsified documents and maintained an improper relationship with one of the company's managers. I met Anne's eyes then, her face pale, her body stiff, and I couldn't find a trace of sympathy left. I answered the HR representative, maintaining a professional tone even as satisfaction simmered beneath my calm exterior. I understand. Thank you for the update. I hung up the phone and placed it back on the counter with deliberate finality, then turned to face Anne. It seems your little scheme has backfired, I said, my voice cold as ice. You've been fired, and they know everything. All the lies, all the secrets, everything you've been hiding for the past 4 months. It's all exposed now. Her tears fell silently, her face twisting in disbelief. No, she whispered, barely audible, the weight of everything crashing down around her. This can't be real. No, this can't be happening. I watched her, my heart strangely unmoved by her suffering. The woman I once loved, the woman I had trusted, had turned into someone unrecognizable. The betrayal was deeper than I could have ever imagined, and I couldn't bring myself to feel anything but cold, detached resignation. This is real, and, I said, my tone unwavering. And it's just a beginning. I pulled my phone from my pocket and opened the camera app. Anne's face was still streaked with tears, her eyes wide with horror. What are you doing? She pleaded, her voice cracking as she reached out in a desperate attempt to stop me. No, please, don't do this. This is something the entire world needs to see, I said, lifting the phone to capture the moment. The world deserves to know exactly who you are. Her face contorted with agony as she buried her hands in her face, sobbing uncontrollably. I just wanted more, she wailed. I just wanted more. I stepped closer, my gaze locking onto hers, the bitterness in my voice sharp as a knife. Did you lie to me because you wanted more? Is that why you cheated on me? You wanted more money, more status, more lies to cover it all up? You're pathetic. I began recording, her every tear, every sob, every painful twist of her face captured for the world to see. Her lies were no longer her secret. They were mine to expose, to destroy. I uploaded the video to every social media platform, tagging her name, her position, the company she worked for. I wanted everyone to know exactly what kind of person she had become. I hope you're proud of what you've accomplished, I said, my voice laced with cold satisfaction. I hope your promotion was worth it. Without another word, I picked up my briefcase, turning away from her as I walked toward the door, ready to leave her lies and her behind. I didn't look back.